Professor Silva here. Today, I'm going to teach you how to get your dream job, guaranteed. So the number one thing that you want to focus on when you're thinking about your dream job is, what is your dream job? So let's outline it. 3 simple steps. The first thing you need to be concerned about is, number 1, define your job. So what I mean by this is, what do you want to do every day for the rest of your life? Or the other way to think about it is, in 10 years, looking back, if you think to yourself, I can't believe I got paid to do that, what is that? Right? What is that job? Whatever that is, there's a way to monetize it, so define that. Right? First step is to define your dream job. The second thing is, think about yourself as a product and learn how to sell yourself. So the second thing is to define your sales pitch. So think about where you bring value to an organization. Position yourself as a product or a service that an employer is purchasing, and that will effectively become your sales pitch for them. So you want to write this down, right? You want to think about how you engage somebody when you call them, the hiring manager, whomever it is. You want to be able to say, you know, hi, my name is Professor Silva, and I'm good at this, or I'm going to make a difference for you here. Whatever that sales pitch is, write it down. Also, be prepared to have a voicemail script. Sometimes when you call somebody, you're not going to get them on the phone right away, and you want to make sure that message that you're leaving is pretty consistent. So this is where it comes to the third point, right? Third very important concept, which is, who are you calling? Now, you heard me mention before calling employers. There actually is a slightly better, different way to do this. Even if you're currently employed and you want to find a new position, you want calls coming into you. So the question is, how do you get calls from prospective employers coming into you? The easiest way you can do this is by contacting recruiters. So the third thing I'm going to write up here is contact recruiters. So there's 2 types of recruitment firms. The first type of recruitment firm is what's called a retained firm, and the second type of firm is called a contingency firm. So the retained firm is put in place by some other organization who hired them to fill staffing positions. So these would be the big banks, the big employers. Basically what their job is to hire out an outsourced organization. They retain that organization to fill certain positions. Typically those recruiters are paid per month, or there's some longer term contract in place. So that's the first type, is a retained search firm. The second type of search firm is something that you're going to be more interested in, which is actually called a contingency search firm. And the contingency search firm is only paid when you are hired. And typically, a contingency-based firm, or operation rather, will pay based on a specific percentage of a salary, which could be, say, 3-month salary. So as an example, what you would want to do, using all 3 of these together, is you'd want to define what your dream job ideally is. You develop your sales pitch, right, which is going to be your call script, your email script, your voicemail script. List out a couple of common things, right? So someone says to you, why should I hire you? You got to have an answer like that, right? What differentiates you in the market? What do you want to get paid? What do you feel like you do differently here? Why should we consider you for employment? These are very, very, very typical questions. Do your homework in advance of any sort of job interview or phone call, and think about what that is going to be, how you're going to answer that, because that's ultimately going to become your sales pitch. So that way, when you're on the phone with these recruiters, right, whether they're retained, contingency, and there are others, by the way, there's outplacement and others, but I'll talk about those in a different video. For your sake, you're probably going to be concerned about one of these 2. Be prepared to answer these questions. So the next question would be, how do you actually go about reaching out to them? So again, think of yourself as a product that your employer is purchasing, or a service that they're subscribing to. So you're effectively marketing yourself. Right. So in this manner, treat your contacts out with your recruitment firms as effectively a sales pitch to them as a product. Right. So build a little miniature CRM system for yourself. Easiest way to do this, start in Google Documents, start in a spreadsheet somewhere, and basically list out some top columns. Right. So here, for example, this column might be the date, the last time you talked to a recruitment firm. This here may be the name of the recruitment firm that you talk to. This here might be the contact, number, etc. And over here, this may be, say, like, note 1 field. And then maybe over here you have, note 2. And what you want to do is you want to slowly build this out as you contact people and add more and more recruiters onto this list. And write down the date, the name, right, all this information whenever you speak to somebody. And ideally, if you're currently employed, you can make a couple of these phone calls after hours, over your lunch break, whenever is convenient for you. If you are not employed and you're looking for a job, this should be your full-time job, right? In your mind, you should be saying, well, how many recruiters can I contact today? Right? Well, if I make, say, 10 phone calls over the course of an hour and I'm going to work 8 hours, then I should be able to make 80 phone calls throughout the course of that day. Let's just say even, for example, you were able to make 1 phone call every hour for the entire month, right? It's pretty reasonable. By the end of that month, you should get to 160 phone calls, which means that by the time you reach the end of this month, you've contacted 160 different recruitment firms, which means that you can, at the end of the month, come back up again and recycle to the first recruiter that you talk to, and you can say, hey, John, how's it going? What's going on with that open position that you had? Best case scenario, you'll be able to intercept at the middle of the month, right here, so that you don't let any more than 2 weeks go by between talking to recruiters. This will keep your name fresh in their mind, and it'll help people to understand you and associate you with that specific position. But more importantly, you're going to be sowing the seeds of recognition for that inbound marketing later. That way, when this contingency search firm representative finds an opportunity for you, he's going to say, oh, you know what, I remember talking to Professor Silva. I remember he was a little bit expensive, but I remember that the guy was probably worth it, and I can make some money off this if I place him. So as an example, if I was going to go into the open market for $500,000 a year or something to that effect, then I could say to this contingency firm, I'd be willing to work for this. They're going to get paid 3 months of my salary to place me because that would be my annual rate. So what you can do is you talk to these guys, keep yourself at a high salary enough level that you will achieve your goals financially, get exactly what you want in terms of your scope, have a consistent message, make sure that you lay out exactly what you're doing again and again and again and again so you know you're not making mistakes along the way, and then make sure that you just beat on the recruiters. So in closing, I'll tell you, this is a technique that I've used very successfully for myself in my career. I've advised other people. I've seen guys go from 40,000 to 80,000. I've also seen guys go from 170,000 to 350,000. This is a technique that's going to draw attention to you. So use it, leverage it, and you will get your dream job, guaranteed.